Alright, and so we're on to race 2 of the B14 International at McCrae. You'll see here that the boats are just getting ready for the second start. The flags are flying on the start boat there, sort of to the top right of the screen, you'll see. And a flag to note there is the Blue Peter, and the Blue Peter is a blue flag with a white square in the middle of it, and that means that we're within 4 minutes to go, and we're not quite at 1 minute to go yet. So the start was very interesting on the water. In a few moments you'll notice that there was a rather large, what we call, bias to the pin end, and there were a number of boats that tried their luck at a port tack start and did very, very well out of it. So keep an eye out if you're watching. So we're back on board with Alan Davis and Matthew Watts. They're flying along there, just getting ready to get going. Looks like we're off and racing. Here we are on board with Steve Mitchell and Adrian Daly on the Bondi Tram. They're flying downwind to the bottom mark of the first lap. And top lap here, we've got Rick Plain and Alice Walker sailing Bang Bang, closely followed by Guy Bancroft and Lockie Aminio on the last bone, or bonus bone as it's called. Guy Bancroft is the what we call the class stalwart. He's been around for a number of years and won a number of national and world championships, so he's certainly the Aussie to beat here at the championships. Guy was closely followed by this lovely British combination, who are all over the shop around the bottom mark, top mark. And looks like Alan Davis is right up there as well, so they're just hoisting now with their white spinnaker, followed closely by Richie Reynolds and Lisa McMillan sailing in the nude. Looks like Chris Bynes and Tom Pygel have rounded closely behind Richie, and they've gone deep, trying to make the most of their top mark rounding. Mark Barnes is a bit further back this race, which is a bit interesting, but he's certainly one to watch and very fast in these conditions. So back a little bit further in the fleet now. It's interesting, you'll see Andre Webster, who's had a bit of a tough day in the office. He's a bit further back in the field today, and he's been closely followed by Kelvin Boyle and Amy Van Galen sailing Flipper, a newly built boat from Australia. I think this is Team Moppet, the brother combination. They were just hoisting there, and Louis on board Oranjeden. Not quite sure how we pronounce that, so we'll have to check that one for tomorrow. And they're hoisting their kite there very quickly. And we're down at the bottom mark, so keep an eye out here. You'll notice that there's a number of boats dropping their spinnakers in preparation for the bottom mark. It's going to be some pretty close racing, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this French boat gets around the bottom mark. They've done really well there. They've dropped the spinnaker on the windward side and then done a late jibe to leeward, with the spinnaker finally being packed in there, and they've come out of there quite well. 782 rounding quite closely on the mark, which is great, closely followed by 361 Cromedy Engineering. And Freya Vickery on Wing It with the Black Rabbit there on the mainsail. Freya's family's got quite an extensive background in the I-14 sailing class, and it's a custom and practice that all I-14s are required to have a symbol on their mainsail. So I think Freya's trying to pull that tradition across into the B14s. So you never know, it might take off. And that's racing for the day.
How'd you go? All right. One good, one not so good. Right, if we've got her in here, cue for the hose. Good race. Hang on, baby.
Well, our first race was alright. We had a bad start and ended up 10th. And the second race we had a really good start on port and came in first at top mark and managed to hold on to that the whole way around to win the race, which was really nice.
We had to fight bangers the whole way around though.
Yeah, bangers was quick.
Yeah.
We made a few adjustments to our rig this morning, so not too sure if that helped, but I think it was more the start.
We'll be keeping it.
Alright, so the wrap up from today's racing. Race 2 was similar conditions to race 1. The fleet certainly hit the beach. It was certainly an advantage to get in near the shoreline and use the tide to our advantage. Tomorrow's winds are expected to strengthen from the north, 20 to 30 knots, and swing through to the southwest at similar speeds. So it's going to be interesting to see whether we can get underway tomorrow, but fingers crossed we'll have a good day. And there's no doubt that some of the heavier crews will be certainly looking forward to some stronger breezes, which will be much more advantageous to their performance.